What's going on, YouTube? We back with another quick breakdown. And in this video, we got Shannon Sharpe, and it's his show, Messy. And basically, DLHughley put out a video, and that was something that he was iterating. And when I think about that, when I look at Shannon Sharpe and what he's accomplished since the Cat Williams interview, the whole internet is in an uproar, and you're seeing people have different feelings about it. And in my opinion, I do see some jealousy. I see some people like Steve Harvey and possibly DLHughley who have realized the attention that Shannon has gotten since the Cat Williams interview, and they haven't gotten that same attention on their platforms in terms of the reach that clubshayshay has had since that Cat Williams interview. And as we all know, Shannon interviewed Monique. And one of Monique's main themes was exposing the truth. And when you think about it, is exposing the truth messy? Why do you think that people have said certain things about Steve Harvey? When there's smoke, there's fire. Now, all of this is allegedly, but I remember the story when Bernie Mac said that Steve Harvey went behind his back to the studios when he was shooting Ocean's 11 and basically said that he would be a better fit for the part. What part of the game is that, Brother Steve? I mean, the thing is when you get into these circles and some of these upper echelon circles, you see that type of behavior where people are going behind other people's backs when they think that basically it's not going to get out to the public. But that did get out to the public. And when you think about that, Steve always is saying, you know, how ethical he is and how Black people should stick together. But when you look at that, that wasn't sticking together, and that was extremely unethical going behind Bernie like that. So exposing the truth, I don't think it's something that Shannon is doing wrong. Shannon has a platform. Shannon is a great interviewer. What's wrong with him bringing people onto his platform to tell their story? I don't look at it as comedy beef. It's not comedy beef. Basically, it's a comedian telling his or her story. Now, if these things happen to him, like Kat said, and if these things happen to Monique, like Monique iterated, what's wrong with them telling their story? So the mere fact that they're exposing the truth, and if you are a part of that truth and you're not taking that so well, I don't look at that as Shannon Sharpe being messy and replacing Wendy Williams. So what I want to do in this video, let's get into what Monique had to say on the Shannon Sharpe show. We'll get into what Steve had to say as well. And we'll also get into what DLHughley said about Monique. And let's go ahead, let's get into it.
People have a problem with people that says, I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell the truth. And that causes a ruckus. And you would say, why are people upset with the truth? When you hear Steve Harvey say there are repercussions when you tell the truth.
We can't come out here and do it any kind of way we want to. This is the money game. This ain't the black man's game. This ain't the white man's game. This is the money game. But we in the money game. And you cannot sacrifice yourself. The best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them. You cannot help them. We're in the money game. But let me tell you what the game is before the money game. Before the money game, it's called the integrity game. And we've lost the integrity worrying about the money. But Mo, wait a minute. If I crumble, my children crumble, my grandchildren crumble. I cannot, for the sake of my integrity, stand up here and let everybody that's counting on me crumble so I can make a statement.
Well, remember when we were children? What would your grandmother tell you?
Tell the truth.
You can make money without losing your integrity. You can create generational wealth without being a scumbag. I don't understand what Steve means by that. I mean, the thing is that just because you're in the money game, that means that truth doesn't mean anything anymore? That means that you can treat people any way that you want, that you can go behind their back and try to get their job because you're in the money game and you're trying to make sure that your family has generational wealth. You still have to have an ethical approach towards making money. It's business. If you're gonna be a businessman, you don't have to be a scumbag businessman. So I completely don't agree with Steve Harvey in that regard. When I look at Steve Harvey, you gotta respect the fact that he's been very successful in this entertainment space. You have to understand that and respect that. But one thing that I don't respect is the way that he approached that conversation with Monique. You still can have an ethical approach in business and still become very wealthy and create generational wealth.
Well, Club Shay Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set. And so Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it. But apparently she goes on Club Shay Shay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host Jasmine Sanders played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that she said she got off. She called me. Monique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, Monique's a liar. When Monique did call me, I heard her complaints, I listened to her, and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't, because I respected her wishes. She's a liar. It's also befuddles the shit out of me how somebody who has a comedian talks as much shit about everybody else as she does. She has the temerity to be offended about anything as much shit as you say about people. Then she encouraged everybody, allegedly it stems from the fact that I used to always talk shit about her on video after video, and she encouraged her sweet babies, do exactly what she says. And you know what you're not gonna find? You're not gonna find any evidence of that, because Monique is a fucking liar. She's lying about that. But what you will find is Monique talking shit about some alleged contract dispute we had. Look at the ticket. It says DL Hughley, then Monique. She knows the story. But what she did in response to that, she talked about my dog, my wife. This broad even brought out my daughter's personal trauma. My daughter was molested, and Monique brought that shit out and told the world that I allowed my daughter to be raped in front of me. She knows she was lying. And it only stopped when everybody from my family checked her. It's interesting. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? You won't ever see her with her family, videos with her children or grandchildren, because nobody fucks with me. How do you have sweet babies when your own babies don't fuck with you? How do you love us for real when there's no evidence of anybody loving you for real, except your daddy, who you apparently have to pay? And FYI, daughters are paid for by daddies, not daddies who get paid by their daughters. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? Telling jokes. It got the worst reviews of any Netflix special in history, because that's what Monique does. She complains and she has grievances. You never see her being a human being. You never see her being sweet and warm to people, except when she's using it to butter somebody up to get something. How is it that nobody fucks with you, not even your family? How do you, I was on the road getting it. I get it every goddamn week. And so all you do is talk about your grievances and who did you wrong. There's a reason you're by yourself. There's a reason you got to pay a man to love you. It's sad. There's an old adage that says you can't buy love. It's a shame, Monique, that you probably always will have to.
One thing that I do take from that is that Monique's Netflix special wasn't her best work. And I do think that this is an opportunity for Monique to really get focused and start writing an hour of fire jokes. It's gonna be crazy. The level of views that she would get right now with the timing that she could take advantage of would be exponential. And I think that that's something that Monique should focus on. And when I look at this, when I see that this constant internet bickering between each other and the optics that displays to the world, I think that there's enough room in this space for everybody to be great without knocking each other down. Now, And when you look at what Cat Williams said, nobody refuted Cat Williams. No one said that Cat Williams was lying. That's Cat's story. That was the way that he wanted to approach that interview. Now, when you look at Monique, that's Monique's story. The things that she said about Tyler Perry, of which she did have receipts about, and he did apologize. And the things that she said about Oprah, the things that she said Oprah did to her. And of course, it's all allegedly, but that's Monique's story. And if you're not able to tell your story, and if people like DLHughley is basically saying that, you know, Club Shay Shay, what are you trying to do? Censor Shannon Sharpe? Isn't that censorship? When you're saying what he can and what he cannot say on his platform. I think it's a situation where people are looking at the internet and they're looking at the possibility of using it as a marketing ploy. You know, Cat Williams did it brilliantly, and Monique did it in a very brilliant way as well, because now she's on Cat Williams' tour with Cat, and you know Cat is selling tickets. So if we can look at it from a healthy point of view and not chop each other down, you know, like Steve Harvey is saying we all need to pray and stuff like that. Brother Steve, unfortunately, the things that they've said about you, they have receipts on those things, especially the Bernie Mac situation. And many comedians have said certain things about you that weren't that positive. Everybody isn't wrong. Listen, I understand that what Monique said may have irritated you. I get it. And to my brother DLHughley, I love DL's comedy, especially in the early days. DL was ridiculous. And I understand those are interpersonal relationships between him and Monique, things that we don't know about. So I'm not going to speak on that. However, there is one thing that I can speak on, is that we have to find a way to change the narrative and refocus the optics. And when you look at the optics is the way that the world views us, the way that the world looks at the way that we deal with one another. Sometimes you can just get on the phone and just call that person. I know that when they expose you publicly on the internet, you want to respond to that. I get that. But if your focus is us as a community coming together, if your focus is us as a community being able to work together, let's take it off the internet. I understand that it's money and it's views and it's clicks and it's marketing. I do get that and I understand that. But when it gets super personal, like the way Brother DL got, I think that that's a phone call. And I think the only way that we can reshape the narrative and refocus the optics is by us being very pertinent when it comes to that and having that understanding. Let's not let the internet get us off our square and have us getting on the internet looking crazy and talking about each other crazy. And when you think about it, if you're on the right side of the truth, this shouldn't bother you. You shouldn't have to get on the internet and even respond to it. But if you're on the wrong side of the truth and you do respond to it, people can kind of see through that and see that basically you're trying to clean it up so that people don't look at you that way. We should have more integrity and be able to deal with each other in an ethical way instead of broadcasting our dysfunction in front of the world. And like we always say, let's change the narrative and refocus the optics. Thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.